Okay, so after the NBA announced they'll allow players to display social justice messages on their jerseys, the NFL's following suit. They've got a different plan, though. The league will reportedly allow players to place the name or initials of a victim of racial injustice on their helmets. In or out? The NFL's plan to have names of victims on the helmets is a more powerful visual than the NBA's pre-approved messages on jerseys.
I'm going to say out of bounds to that, BT, because I think they're equally impactful and equally meaningful. And I think what we've seen, at least in the NBA so far and the bubble, is guys are using their media platforms, meaning media availability, to talk about social justice, things that are important to them. And they'll talk about basketball when the games are actually started being playing, I'm sure. But right now they're using it to their advantage to highlight what's important to them. And the NFL is going to give them the same opportunity. So I can't say one is greater than the other. I think they're both doing a great job addressing this the right way.
Yeah, I'm going to say out of bounds here. I'm, powerful, if I was to substitute the visible.
Yeah.
Like
and be
more
a different,
visible visual. I would probably say that, just based on the flow of an NBA game with some prolonged stoppages, guys get fouled. You usually, I don't know what the exact average is, but teams take at least, 20-something free throws a night. Yeah, it's a lot of stoppages. You focus on the back of a jersey. You have a conversation if you want, depending upon who's doing the game. But with the NFL, guys are in the huddle for sure, but you're usually going through a replay. The color guy's doing his job. It's just the pacing is different. So from a visibility point of view, the jerseys are probably better.
Yeah.
But from a powerful, a potency point of view, I think they're equally potent. So I would say out of bounds to that. Speaking of the NBA, Jimmy Butler wants he doesn't want anything on the back of his jersey, right? He wants to have the nameplate taken off.
Yeah. He's trying to go anonymous.
He is.
Play the game. It's all about the team.
Well, he better not be anonymous in the fourth quarter. Otherwise, Miami's not going to be able to accomplish what we're about to ask here. They're fourth in the East. All right, 41 wins, and they're going to have a full, healthy roster heading into the bubble. Now, Udonis Haslem said the team is employing a no-complaint rule inside the bubble. But inbounds, out of bounds, the Heat are legit threats to come out of the Eastern Conference.
I'm going to say out of bounds to that, BT, and it's not a knock against them. I like Jimmy Butler a lot. But the way the roster is constructed right now, I try to find who's scoring, man. I know Dragic. Jimmy. But what happens if you go shut down Jimmy?
Well, what happens if somebody shuts down Giannis? We talked about Middleton.
Yeah,
do you
Middleton
think that,
Eric Bledsoe's a good player. I mean, Bam could be a good. I mean, look, he's averaging 16 points a game or so. Obviously, Kendrick Nunn's a really good young player.
Yeah.
But I think the Bucks are better. I think that the Celtics are better.
Okay.
And probably Toronto too.
No,
to be honest with you, we talked about this, BT. But they're just so well coached, and I'm not optimistic that the Heat are going to get out. That's just my gut from right now. And again, anything could happen because it's a bubble restart, and it is what it is. We talk about this every week, it seems. But I'm going to say out of bounds.
I'm going to say a hearty inbounds here. Listen, there's going to be some occurrences during this resumption of the season that are going to be perplexing. Some heavyweights going to get bounced. Somebody that has no business playing for an extra month or so, or maybe deeper, is going to find a way to permeate the ranks of the Cinderella, if you will. But if the Miami Heat are playing in the NBA Finals, or even before that, the Eastern Conference Finals, I would not look at that as a high level of overachievement. I really wouldn't. I mean, listen, Budenholzer is very good. Giannis going to win the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year award as well. First of all, Eric Spoelstra has already won championships. All right, so he's a championship head coach.
Yeah.
They're a championship franchise with Riley. They got a bucket getter in the fourth quarter in Jimmy. They've got a couple lockdown defenders. They have a couple of shooters who can get hot over the course of a couple of weeks. Bam Adebayo, to me, is by far the most improved player, him or Siakam in the NBA, but I would probably vote for Bam. So to me, I look at this and I'm saying, well, what are they missing? And they're not really missing anything. So they're their fourth seed right now. I hear you. We disagree. They're better than Toronto in a 7-game series. Can they beat Boston? Yeah. Could they beat Milwaukee? Sure. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to say inbounds. They could do it. Mookie Betts getting paid as the former American League MVP, which just got a monster contract from the L.A. Dodgers. The reports are around 13 years, whatever it might be. There were a lot of reports going around this morning, and it was confirmed by all the main baseball guys. But it's between, I don't know, whatever. It's for 13 years, but it's about $350 million, meaning he's going to make right around $35 to $37 million a season. Now, as of now, there's only 3 players making more than $35 million per season. So, in or out, Mookie Betts is worthy of being a top 5 highest paid player.
Top 5 highest paid player. Well, I mean, what does that even mean? Like, you're worthy of being a top 5 highest paid player. I think it's more, can you negotiate yourself into being a top 5 highest paid player? I'm going to say inbounds. Right now he's 13th on per average at 29.5 or so, and so it's not like he's breaking the mold, so to speak. But over the last 4 years, he's been top 10 in the MVP voting. Obviously winning back in 2018, and he's a great on base guy. Scores a ton of runs. He's likely not going to be a 500 career home run hitter at the end of the day, but that doesn't mean that he's not a great player. It will be for the LA Dodgers. So is he top 5? I'll say inbounds, but I don't know even what that means, to be honest with you.
I'm going to say out of bounds. As a matter of fact, I texted our guys this morning. I said, I think they're going to lament this contract. Not lament heavily, and it's not a diss. Mookie is a star. But if I'm handing out, 12 or 13 years, I have to do it for somebody that when the natural attrition sets in, there is still some sort of statistical benchmark or gate attraction that inspires fans to want to go and watch said player, right? So Mookie's not going to hit 500, and I know that the benchmarks are a little different. I obviously understand that, but he's not going to hit 500 bombs. He's not going to get 3,000 hits. I based on the projections, I don't think so. He's a fantastic player, but he's going to start to run less. Last year he already ran less. He only had 16 steals. So, I think it's bad business to give somebody who's 27 in the season in which they get the contract a 13-year deal.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryce Harper's going to hit 500 or 600 home runs. So is Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Arenado's going to do the same. And then there's value there. Garrett Cole, when you can actually put fans at the stadium. Yankees gave him a ton of money, but the Yankees will put, 48,000 people in the building when Garrett Cole's pitching because he can strike out 18 guys.
And what you're talking about value is milestone value, right? When you get to a milestone, it's just valuable. You can promote around it. It's part of A-Rod's deal with the Yankees in so many ways. And when they try to claw that stuff back because of the steroid stuff, it became an issue. Mookie's not going to be the milestone guy. You're right. But, again, I position this as if you can go get it, go get it. And if you deserve it because you've been so good as a hitter, but he's also one of the great fielders in baseball right now.
He is.
He's got like almost a 99.2% field percentage.
Forget about that. His catch rate is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, right? So I think he's valuable, but it's not valuable like I want to go buy my Mookie Betts jersey when he's 35 years old.
Here's the other issue, too, and I think you have to incorporate this because we saw, now Jeter was a benchmark guy with the 3,000 knocks, but, when you're a career, guy for one team, there's sentiment there. There's a different level of adulation.
Yep. We brought him up. We saw him from the very beginning.
He's ours.
He won
our baby.
Yep, won a World Series for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That might not happen with the Dodgers.
Well, it won't because he's not a Dodger. He spent 6 years in Boston.
That's what I mean. I mean, he might not even win a World Series with the Dodgers.
Who knows,
hope that
right?
if you're paying him this much, you hope that they do, but still, he might not.
They might not. You never know. Baseball's unpredictable in terms of that stuff. He is a guy, and then you got to look at the younger wave of players, the Acuñas who got $100 million, whatever. But the Tatises and guys. I mean, I don't see a place. My answer is out of bounds. I will use the term slightly lament this deal when it's probably about 75 to 80% done. Multiple leagues are obviously battling and juggling how to include crowd noise into games. No fans, as we know. The NBA is going to pipe in some crowd to broadcast while Major League Baseball is pumping in the crowd directly inside the stadiums, which gives a different ambiance for the players, obviously. So and they're going to take that video that audio from the video game MLB The Show. One player, though, this is Joey Votto, who won the MVP, whatever it was, 9 or 10 years ago, says, quote, I guess someone not in uniform came up with the idea. He's not feeling it. It just seems far too, synthetic. So playing crowd noise inside stadium for players to hear is a better plan than just piping in the crowd noise for the TV audience at home. In or out?
I'm going to say out of bounds of that, BT, because it is artificial. It is going to feel fake. It's going to feel, I don't know, kind of corny if you're a Major League Baseball player. Music is different, but even music could be distracting. It almost feel like you're in batting practice. Because that's what happens at batting practice. You go there early and their music is blaring. Guys have their hats on backwards. It's like this chill environment. So I'm going to say out of bounds. I think limiting it to what the audience hears is more important. Because when we watch it and we see an empty stadium and there's no reactions, it's a different conversation. Mm-hmm. But when the players are trying to concentrate or be in this weird, I don't know, isolated, sterile environment, pumping in crowd noise that doesn't have any context doesn't make any sense.
But it will have context. They're going to only play it when something good happens. If a guy hits a 3-run bomb, boom, you bang in the music.
That's even worse, though. It's because that's corny. It's like
I don't think it's corny. My answer is in bounds. I mean, listen, if I'm good enough, and I know that it's become fairly common these days in Major League Baseball, I get it. It's a daily occurrence. But if I turn around a home run and I bang one 437 feet, it's going to ricochet off empty seats, understood based on the virus. But as I'm running around the bases, I want to hear a little something, I want to hear, like, snap. I got the power. I want to hear something. That's the better, a little vibe.
Yeah, the better thing would be to have, like, a home run song. Like how they all have walkout songs,
yep.
whatever it is. You have a walkout song. If you have a big hit or a home run, have like a home run trot song. That would be cool.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.